We kind of knew the day would always come where the subsidies would start to fade out and eventually go. Do you think kind of the way it's happened has taken people a little bit by surprise in some markets in Europe?
In some markets, yes. I think what we can say in the UK, the recent announcement of the change of the ROCs regime,
Sure.
that as of next year plants above 5 megawatt do not get any kind of ROCs regime support anymore. I think that catched many by surprise. Although still, let us say, there is a certain lead time to get things done.
Sure.
And to get things built which are in the pipeline. So therefore we expect in Q4 this year a kind of rush in the UK for the bigger plants. In Germany, it's not really catched by surprise, but it's taking too long to hold discussions ongoing. I think in Germany we can say it's already 3 years now ongoing, and that's not going very well. I think the whole issue is, I would even say, misused by certain politicians to profile themselves, and that's a pity. In Germany, we have the situation that the pot who is funding the whole subsidies, they want to reorganize this new.
Sure.
So who is going to pay for this pot, and where is the money coming from? And so which means it comes down to some extra taxes and probably a little bit more hurting the commercial rooftops.
Sure.
And that's a pity also, because exactly that segment of commercial rooftops, that is seen as a really future segment, away from ground mounting up to the roof mounting then. We hope, and that's what they announced, that by August is all clarified, and people can pick up again then.
Yeah, I mean, it seems a bit surprising because there's a new coalition government in Germany since the beginning of the year, and a lot of people thought that because we had kind of a centre-left politician in charge of the energy and economy side of things, Sigmar Gabriel, it was kind of an era of optimism a little bit, but it kind of seems like the way things are going, it seems to be a lot of political manoeuvring.
Yeah, I think there is, I would say, a kind of disconnection between the ideals of the renewable industry and the ideals of the politicians. I think in the past it was very clear, green and left are for renewable energy, they are for getting out of the nuclear, and I think this kind of ideology is not anymore there so strong.
Yeah, I mean, there's been talk of exemption for the heavy fossil fuel users from paying the surcharge on the EEG and things like that, which I think is really taking people by surprise politically, I guess.
Sure.
As much as anything else.
And I think the other thing is also that it's a pity, let us say, that also the discussion is used in this way to make even residential customers afraid about even installing on their own roof a PV installation. Because the debate is going this way, hey, if you install a PV installation on your roof, at the end of the day, the grandma around the corner, who has a very small pension, she has also to pay for your PV installation. And the one who is unemployed at the other corner of the street also have to pay for this. So at the end of the day, you should shame yourself if you put a PV installation on your roof. And I think that is really a pity that it came so far in that country where it all started and was good on the way. They say, and also the thing is that it's all about CO2 reduction, and nobody's talking anymore about this. So that is a bit
seems to have been a bit lost. Yeah. So I mean, what's REC's approach to Germany going to represent over the coming years?
Yeah. So let us say we are taking efforts to understand better the commercial rooftop markets, what we need to do there, what needs to be done in order, let us say, to take a stronger foothold in that market. And I think one of the initiatives we show here at Intersolar is a cooperation with Sika and Centroplan. Sika is the worldwide biggest roofing material company. So they are making, let us say, the material which you put on your roof. It's a Swiss company. And then Centroplan is a company doing consultancy and solution building 4 rooftops.
Okay.
So under construction, etc. So what we have done is to understand together with the people from Sika what is the roof, what is about the roof, what is, let us say, the best to put a solar system on the roof. How can the material on the roof already be prepared in future to put easier a solar system on the roof?
Sure.
And out of this cooperation, what we show here is a possibility that somebody who invests today in a flat roof can already invest with a special material from Sika on the roof, which is pre-prepared already for a solar installation in the future.
Right.
So he might say, I have no money today, but let's say in 2 years I won't have an installation on my roof.
Yeah.
Okay, there is thing welded on, so there is no necessity anymore to drill in the roof something. So
Right, I see. So it just sits on top of the roof.
Yeah, it is somewhere a thing which
It's
is
hot air welded
welded.
on the roof because one of the main things that you see with roofing installations is that the installer has to come and has to do some work on the roof.
Sure.
In the Sika case, the membrane and this, as we call it, the solar clicks, is hot air welded on the membrane, which basically does not require any more perforation. And what that allows is it allows a company like Sika together with Centroplan and now together with REC offer a longer term warranty on the whole total system level.
So I mean the example that we take now from the way things that the approach to Germany is going, is that something that's in the other markets where the subsidies are also kind of on the wane, and maybe places where these cuts have been more drastic, like your Italy's, your Spain, stuff like that? Is this a kind of strategy that you can take over to those countries, or will it be a question of reassessing and then looking at a whole different, potentially new way?
To say, of course, it's always a little bit reassessing because still, as long as we are in markets which are locally regulated, with subsidy scheme or whatever, you always have to look at this local situation. You have also to look to the local laws and building regulations, etc., which also is still different from country to country. But apart from that, yes, you can take it over to the other countries. If you take like UK, they want to reduce this ROC regime, and then let us say above 5 megawatt, not anymore, but they want to define a program to stimulate commercial rooftops.
Yeah.
So therefore, let us say at a certain point, yes, also in the UK, we will be trying to introduce these concepts. And I think also if you go to the south, I think Italy, of course, have massively reduced their subsidy scheme. But I think, let us say, it's a matter of, again, restoring the financial climate, etc., the investor trust. I think also Italy will be in near future installing more and more commercial rooftops. Because I don't think there is so much possibility still left over for Italy to build large ground mount systems. If you look to Spain, yes, probably there is enough room and space because the middle of Spain is desert to build large ground mounts. So it's a bit different from country to country. But I would say in Western Europe, the areas which are high density of population, I think yes, definitely there is a very, very strong commercial rooftop market.
And so I mean, moving away from European markets a little bit, we've kind of been aware that REC have been doing a lot of work supplying into Japan. And a few years ago it wouldn't have been perhaps unthinkable, but it would have been very unusual to hear, I guess. I mean, it's a market that's very strongly kind of favours domestic brands, and not necessarily just domestic contents, but domestic brands. And yeah, I mean, as a general question, how's REC found the move towards Japan, and how's it been working?
Yeah. So if you look to today, we are doing very well in Japan. I would say in Europe we are moving about a bit more than 50% of our volume goes into Europe, and about 37% goes in Japan.
Wow.
So Japan is really a very, very important market for REC. We started very early in Japan. We opened our office in Japan 2 months before the announcement of the feed-in tariff in Japan.
Yeah, so 2012. Right?
Yeah, so we were very, very early there. we decided from the beginning we have to open an office here in Japan, in Tokyo, with only Japanese people there. So that was again another thing where we differentiated ourselves from many other competitors. And I would say the majority of competitors coming from China into Japan. And yeah, they put it in the beginning Chinese people there. So it was not a very good match. And I think the other thing also, okay, the Japanese, they are very pro for domestic brands, but they are very quality conscious. Very quality conscious, and willing to pay the premium also for these. Very technical oriented. So therefore, that was a very good match with our products. We are, as a European player, producing in Singapore, very high quality standards we have. We are recognized as a very high quality standard. And that is what we found also in Japan, that the Japanese people also recognize these, and that's made us strong in Japan, I would say.
Okay, so how does Rex see kind of the future, the near future for PV globally? Big question, I know.
I think, let us say, if you draw a product life cycle, I think the PV industry, the solar industry, you can still see here at really the bottom. So there is still a very, very long way to go and a huge potential in the market. So although, let us say, market is tough today, and some believe there are characteristics of saturation in the market, it's absolutely no saturation. There is still a huge market to go. And I think if you go to a 50 gigawatt market this year, I think that's just the beginning. I think you will see in a very near future 3-digit gigawatt markets globally.